Bop, bop, bop. Good morning. Good, wonderful, wonderful Saturday morning. Mercy, YOLO Swaggins. Good morning. How are you? I hope you like the new camera reveal. I couldn't get the camera to work through the image of the fire. Yo, Pat, what's up, bro? Did you receive my dono? I don't know, bro. If you sent me a dono, it goes to my tab, my banking tablet, which I haven't looked at since Thursday. Since Wednesday, kinda. So, but bro, if you send me money, bro, I appreciate you like a motherfucker, man. You do not have to do that. Seriously, bro. Shout out to YOLO Swaggins, man. Damn. Damn, sending love from Mercy. Pat resubscribed for 4 months. Dude, I didn't even know we knew each other that long, bro. God damn, bro. Shout out to Pat my pussy, man. I saw Pat was streaming just now. If y'all got time,
hey yo,
pull up
we
Pat.
got struck by lightning, my guy.
My guy?
God just smited us for fucking for fighting against one another. We need to raise anchor.
What do you mean
What
I
the
smited
fuck,
you?
bro? 'They lied.
4 months going
What the
strong. It was from your clip. My guy. So, just a few minutes ago, Pat is probably one of my more favorite streamers. Gonna lie, not gonna lie. Wow, Mercy. Alright. I see how it is. No, just kidding. So, Pat's a great streamer. Everybody, shout out to Pat. Follow Pat. Tab him up while we're chatting over here. And, Pat, we should play an actual game that we both have, bro. Like, let's play some fucking, when I'm done with the podcast, let's play some fucking, let's play some motherfucking, Riders Republic. That's what it's called. Let's fly around on some jetpack. Yes! Yes! Let's play that after this. So, yes. So, I don't know if y'all like that I'm in the flames literally this time. You know, before, like, you could just see me through the flames. Now you could see me and the flames. You know, it's like I'm on motherfucking fire. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I love all y'all for coming out and jumping in this morning. It's absolutely great. We got an absolute great an absolute great episode today. We're talking about dreams. Now, those
I was born a god.
That's true. I was born a god. And You're on Fire by Eminem starts playing. True. We got a fire episode to talk about today. Those of you who know me a lot, I talk about my dreams a lot. I always say, whenever I have deja vu, I always remember, I always try to remember the dream that I've had and when it happened so that I can remember how long it took for the dream to happen to when it actually came true into reality. So, that happens a lot. It happens very often. I have witnesses to it happening, actually. I have, obviously they can't witness my own dream, but they can be there, the next day after I had the dream and then, when it actually happened. So that was crazy. This is true, right? Yes, exactly. They can't see my dream, So, keeping in with season 2 of the podcast, I do have a nice intro video for us to watch. It's 3 minutes and 28 seconds, shorter than our intro screen. It gives us a nice breakthrough into the depth of what we're going to talk about in dreams. You just think I'm going to analyze your dream and like on some sort of psychological level. That's not what we're talking about today. If you want to hear that I'm talking about analyzing dreams on a psychological level, that's all nonsense. Dreams mean nothing unless words are put to them. So your own dreams to you are meaningless until you until you start to attribute them to things in your waking life. But in my case, that doesn't seem to be the case. In my case with dreams, I seem to be gravitating towards some sort of other perspective. I don't dream too much. I don't dream at all unless it's of something that's going to happen. Okay, just the other day I had deja vu at work, and I realized that I had the dream about it 2 years ago. Two skang years ago. So, let's get into it, shall we? Let's watch.
Tepoztlan, Mexico, October 2011.
And if you don't know by now, it's time to smoke while we watch this. Expand your mind, open your brain. 3 minutes and 28 seconds.
Here, just 50 miles from Mexico City, shamans from all over North and South America gathered to commemorate the region's long tradition of shamanic
Look at that lady
healing.
with her stomach out and her pants half open.
Throughout the 3-day celebration, these modern-day medicine men engage in sacred dances,
Mercy.
rhythmic chanting, and drumming. All methods that shamans use to connect with other realms. But why? Do these practices really affect a change within the shamans that allows them to communicate with beings that are otherwise beyond our perception?
In many shamanic traditions, shamans have special tools that allow them to access the spirit world. Among the most important of these tools are the shaman's drum and/or the shaman's rattle. These are rhythm instruments
that guy is
that
fucking
beat out a
ripped.
particular rhythm that allow the shaman to enter into trance and to journey to the world of spirits.
That's some pretty good editing.
This rapid, very steady rhythm on the drum as being
You need a
central
shaman
tool.
and cheesing?
Shamans
Yeah,
being able
the
to
guy was
open up
cheesing.
the doors of the mind, giving voice to the unseen realms of the cosmos.
Why was that girl's stomach
Is
out
it
and her
merely
pants half
coincidence
undone?
that
I feel like that
shamans
was like
all
some
over the
sexual
world
ritual,
share
not
the
like...
belief that by repeating certain rhythmic movements and sounds, they can
Damn, he looks like a
communicate with
fucking
other
straight
realms?
monkey. What the hell?
Or might this ancient practice produce
Bro,
a real
we
physiological
go back?
change
each other.
in the
He's a friend from
communicate with
work.
other realms?
Look at this.
Or might this ancient practice produce a real physiological change in the shamans themselves?
Wait, I want to
There's a
see.
neurological explanation for this. One of the ways that
Here it is.
For the world, share the belief that by repeating
Look at this fucking guy,
certain-
bro. Bro, look at this fucking guy. He looks like a real fucking monkey. I mean, that is some good fucking art, costume, makeup. Damn, son. That is crazy shit.
Rhythmic movements and sounds, they can communicate with other realms.
Holy shit.
Or might this ancient practice
That blew
produce
my
a
mind.
real physiological change in the shamans themselves?
There's a neurological explanation for this. One of the
See?
ways that we can alter our consciousness is through rhythmic movement. So throughout the world, you see many traditions in which people communicate with the gods by spinning, by dancing, by doing something rhythmic.
At the University of California in San Francisco, neuroscientist Dr. Adam Ghazali is performing experiments using 3D gaming technology that actually track how drumming affects the human brain. Participants wear virtual reality goggles and experience both visual and auditory rhythms.
We feel that if we have a participant learn how to entrain with different rhythms through game mechanics, we could strengthen the rhythms of the brain and lead to better performance,
PhD,
better
MD.
cognition, better memory, better attention.
Just like the
So
Dr.
we're
WARR
recording
multiverse.
in real time what's going on in her brain. You can have a rhythm going on that you're listening to, and your brain has its own natural rhythms. The entrainment would be that they become locked in time such that they follow each other. We're sort of at like the
Interesting.
gateway of this frontier now.
That was it. Alright. So, what did we learn? I'll tell you what we learned. We learned that while we call it rhythm and chanting, what we're doing God, what we're doing is unlocking some sort of inner worldly mechanism within our own brains that allows us to enter into a dream-like state. And if you're not subbed, you're about to get ads. Or getting ads already. And do you think there is a way to communicate with otherworldly beings? Oh, for sure. For sure. For sure. Yes, glad you subbed. I'm glad you subbed too, bro. Appreciate that. God damn. Bro, we're getting closer. We need more subs to get to add our other emotes to the channel. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Fuck you, Ed, says Mercy. Yeah, whatever. So so the idea is that appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We just need a little bit more, and we're gonna sell this shit that I got here, this Mac and everything, and we're gonna get a new PC. That's what we're gonna do. So what seems to be going on with these shamans and other people and other things is you're entering a dream-like state. You're not entering the same world that you enter as when you're dreaming. Because when you're dreaming, you're in like this almost trance. You know, you're in this trance-like state where everything's kind of blurred and you only see a little bit of it's like looking at everything through a cone view. You know, you don't you don't see, everything that's going on around in the background. Some people are able to see a little more. Sometimes you see the whole dream absolutely vividly, but the point is that it's a dream. You're able to consciously recognize that this is a dream. Are these beings former people, or are they beyond our comprehension? Both. And in your dream, what seems to be happening with me is that I'm always able to view everything, and it doesn't feel like a dream. It feels like I'm watching what's happening, like as if I'm sitting there watching a movie of something that's going to happen in the future, whether it be a couple weeks, months, or years down the line. Sometimes I'm doing more than that. Sometimes I'm talking to people. Sometimes I'll be talking to myself in spectator mode. Exactly, if you want to put it like that, since we're in the game universe. In spectator mode, you're watching everything that happens. Sometimes I even view myself from third person, though, in spectator mode, which is why I say it's more like a movie than it is like witnessing it. But it is like spectator mode, because it's like I'm not only watching it on a screen, I'm living in it as well, and I'm witnessing it, but I'm living in it. It's like it's almost like when you're the ghost of Christmas past, and you go back in time, and you're looking at a past version of yourself, but it's and you're sitting there as like some incorporeal figure, that I wonder if that's an explanation that we live further than past just our bodies. Well, we do. If you want to describe that as energy, physically, we have this aura around us. All of us do. Everybody does. Some people's are bigger, some people's are smaller. That's how it is. But we all have this aura that extends past our bodies, emitting from the energy that we take in, as well as the energy that we give off as life beings. And when you're technically, you literally live and exist past your own physical body. And this is measurable today. We're able to measure this. This is known. This is accepted by modern science. This is nothing really kind of brand spanking new. But what seems to be happening with these, the reason I thought this shaman video was great is because you see shamans all over the earth using plants. Like ayahuasca ended up starting because the shamans and the people of those cultures wanted to go and experience the gods, and meet with the gods and talk with the gods and all this other shit. And you have the gods sitting there and telling them, this is how you do this. They tell them, this is how you do it. You mix these plants. They literally would tell them that you mix these plants and you do this. You create these rhythms. You with these drums, with these rattles like they showed. You create these auditory sounds with your voice, called like you have om. You sit there and you see everybody going om, that's another one. You have all these different sort of ways to get yourself and your body and your mind into this trance-like state. But notice it's always a dream-like state, a trance-like state, meaning it's not that. It's not actually that. You're not actually in a dream. You're not actually in a trance. You're fully cognizant, but you're not in your physical, earthly, third-dimensional body. Physically. You're what seems to be in your mind, but you're outside of your mind and your own body. by doing all these things, takes an out of body experience to a whole new level. Exactly. You know, when you do these other things to get your body outside of yourself, you sit there, you meditate, you play music. You know, other examples are even in Sanskrit and Hindu mythology. They have mantras, which are spoken words, spoken phrases that are spoken a certain way with certain words to do certain things. You know, so you have all, and have a physical effect on the universe as well as inside of a person. You know, as well as a mental and emotional effect. All these different things are examples of how to get yourself into a dream-like state. But you're not in a dream. You're not in another world. You're here on Earth in your physical body, but your mind has gone beyond it. We've talked about going physically beyond your body, beyond the Earth, traveling through time and through space. But we haven't talked about what happens when your mind goes beyond that. Because is it possible for your mind to go beyond your body? Absolutely, of course. Because while we know that light acts as a physical wave, light is also just energy. And if your body gives off energy, like I just said a few moments ago, where we're able to measure this, right? If you're able to give off this energy, you're giving off a non-physical, I don't know, some sort of radiance, and what happens is that your body is not, is going beyond it. Thoughts are non-physical. That's why we can't place them. We're not you can't physically place them. Everybody always just assumes thoughts are in the brain, but it may or may not be true. Your brain is really just the center of neurons and mass, and I've talked about this in the past as well as other people and other things, but our brains are really act more like satellite receivers than give off information. We receive more information than we give off non-physically. Right? It's energy. It's in the air. It's all these other things, but it's a non-physical thing. And when you want to how should I put this? If you I have this one, right? Yeah, 100%. No way. I've never seen that before. That's so true, though. I was just having a talk on how to really become such different if we're all basically the same organisms or have the same makeup. That's a great point. It's all physical, but it's also non-physical. It's your swaggins. I just got your pay thing. Appreciate you, bro. It says payment received. Appreciate that, man. Shout out to Swaggins. Let's get a better Swaggins clip. I have a good point to
right
that. Here. Yeah, right here. Yeah. Fucking 8-packs. Oh, he's on the zip line.
Yep, he's about to die.
Bing.
Fuck that, he's getting shot off the sky.
Yeah!
I fucking love you! God.
That's fucking crazy. So one of the other, the other day, Jed kills me in that clip. Yo, literally. The other day, I spoke about how time, how Einstein spoke about how light acts as both a physical property and a wave, a physical wave, and a light source, an energy. So scientists today, if you take the theory that your brain and your thoughts act just like energy, which in fact they do, because your body is really just a center of electrons and electrical neuro impulses that literally just go back and forth throughout your body and trigger different things in your brain. I mean, your thoughts are nothing more than electrical impulses in your brain. But if those impulses act like energy, then theoretically, just like Einstein said, they would be part non-physical and part physical, just like light energy would be. So scientists today are actually testing this out, and they found that actually you can put energy data on crystal. So crystals are used in a lot of technological aspects that we use today. And but what happens is we're learning that now crystals in themselves are able to store data. And in fact, scientists today are working on data being stored on crystals only. The idea is that instead of just, having a memory chip or something, you literally just upload all the data to the physical crystal, and you could have, millions of quadrillions of data on there. Fuck your 1-2 terabytes. I mean, you know what I mean? You're talking like 1-200,000 terabytes on one little piece of crystal. And so the amount of information that you're able to store on a crystal is unbelievable. Scientists today are working on doing this because the thought is not only can we store unlimited amount of data from our technological devices and everything that we have, but also one day that we could eventually use that to store the data from your own brain straight to a crystal. The theory is that from there you can upload that data to an artificial intelligence. You could literally build a robot and upload your own brain into it, and and that robot is literally now you, but in an immortal robot. You know what I mean? As long as that robot's got power, you're good. How do we all have such different perspectives on shit or grasp different realities if we're all the same as far as our makeup? Oh, that's easy. Because it's not easy, but it's because we all live in different areas. It's like, for example, say you were born on Mars, right? And I was born on Earth. Well, we're both human beings. Your mother went to Mars, just before she got pregnant with your human dad from Earth. Both of them are from Earth. It's the same as being, both your parents came from Italy. and you were born here, or Poland, or Russia, or England, or India, or anywhere. Um, well, we're both human beings, but we have different cultures, different languages, different ways of thinking based on our cultures and beliefs. We have different beliefs and cultures in our own country that we live in today. Our own culture itself, religiously and scientifically, culturally wise, is not the same. It we don't live in the same world, even in the same country, and our religions are based off of something that happened thousands of years ago. All religions. And when you go out into these religions, they have different beliefs than what you're living in now, even though you're living in the same country. It's because of what happens is you feed off of these impulses. This is why human beings are both givers of energy and receivers of energy, because we're receiving these impulses off of you. I'm receiving impulses off of you. This is why I always say I'm able to feel everything when people is going on and what people are saying, is because I'm feeling the energy you give off. People say, I don't like your vibes. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about the energy you give off. I don't like the energy you give off. And everybody feeds off of each other. And you, as a person, as an individual, grow off of your family, your culture, your history, your country, and then you interact with other people, and those cultures and everything mix with you, and from them you learn different things and then change the way you perceive things. But what about when you're a child and don't know any of these things, says Swaggins. But yes, that's true, your background does make up a lot of what you're in adult life. When you're a child, you learn. It's different, because when you're a child, you learn by doing. But when you're an adult, you do based off of the things that you've learned in the past. For example, I'll give you another example. This is what also separates us from other animals, or at least one of the things, is because a dog, a wolf, a cat, a lion, they never stop learning from what they do. We, as fully formed conscious adults, do off of what we've learned. But they, in the wild, never stop learning from what they do. Meaning the action of doing is first and the lesson is later. It's the same thing with children. The lesson is you did it wrong because you got scolded by your parents, teachers, authorities, whatever. Whereas as an adult, if you do something, you're gonna get scolded by your parents, teachers, authority, friends, all the above. Right? But as a lion in the wild, or as a kitty cat in your house, I'm gonna go jump off of something, and it might be too far, and it's gonna hurt. Now, I'm still gonna have to jump from that point eventually if I want to get back up to where I want to get, and then get back down again. I'm not gonna learn that maybe I should, find a different way up. Of course, some animals do, and animals are smarter than we give them credit for, but I'm talking about just bare bones, make that's crazy, says Swaggins, because I never thought about feeding off energy, because you could definitely feel it, and it makes you wonder how in tune you can be with people, since we tend to ignore a lot of the signs. You could be very in tune with people. Think about how they say women who live together bleed together. You know, their cycles link up. That's like a physical way to see that people do actually feed off of each other. You know, you as a person, you get lonely because you feed off of human contact and physical contact. As you want not only, maybe not even just like the actual physical point, but just the social interaction. You may or may not, man, this shit is fucking good fucking weed, man. I am high as fucking a kite. When you sit there and wait, where was I going with this thought? Because this is a good point. I used to go to this Buddhist temple all the time. And every time I would go there, this monk would always be sitting in the same exact spot. Like, I'm talking about, like, never moved to the point where I stared at him so closely than I have in years. I love it, bro. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want you to think deeply. This monk, I had to stare at him so closely to see if he was breathing, because I literally thought he was a statue. He never moved. And he was alive, of course. I stared at him so deeply that I was able to see him breathe. But what blew my mind was how still he was. The whole time I'm staring at him, at this monk, he still hasn't moved an inch, a centimeter. The only thing I saw was little tiny breaths, you know, and this guy is not moving at all. And I look at myself, and I'm, you know, from a third person perspective, and I'm like, how weird is it that I'm like obsessed with this guy not moving, like to the point where I've come here multiple times now and I'm staring at this guy like, what's going on? And he hasn't even noticed me, you know. He's staring off, he's, you know, into the back of his eyelids, witnessing this whole world behind his eyes, you know. Or not, maybe, I don't know, maybe he's just in some meditative state, floating above his own head, looking down at me like, ha ha ha, you youngin', you don't know, you know, like, what the fuck do I know, you know. So I had this guy was just like, he was just so introverted into the brain or outside of it that I couldn't like feel anything coming off of him. Maybe it was the way the structure of the building was, of the temple was, you know, that took the energy away or sent it up or whatever, you know, how they say that they build structures to do these things. And maybe that's what it was, I don't know, but I didn't feel nothing off of this guy. I mean, I literally thought this guy was dead. But he wasn't. He was in some sort of meditative trance for like weeks on end, that he would meditate for like 22 hours or something like that, and then sleep, and like basically like right where he was, like, you know, he would get up to like go shit basically, if he even fucking shit. I mean, he was barely even eating anything, and you know, he was eating like his little like rice diet or whatever he had. I forgot what it was, and he was like, you know, just sitting there, but because they have like a specific diet, you know, that they eat there, and he he was cool as hell. I ended up having a conversation with this guy later on. I'll tell that story another time. But this guy was he was just so trapped in this inner world, and I was so trapped in my inner world of wondering what he was doing in his inner world, in his brain, in his mind, that I just like forgot the whole reason why I was there, you know. The whole reason why I was there was to meditate in peace and quiet, and you know, and he was there for the same. But if I couldn't feel his energy, I wonder if he could feel mine. You know, was I feeding into his vision some way? You know, was I, because I was so focusedly intent on looking at him for a long period of time, was I giving off this energy to him while he was in some sort of trance? That seemed crazy to me, and like a crazy thought. Because I could have been interacting with him, and he didn't even know about it. You can be, yet one day, another time when I spoke to him, not the other story, he told me that he was fully aware of everything that was going on. I don't know if he means like eyes open and aware, but he knew. You know, he knew that I was coming there all the time. By the way, if you ain't subbed, you were about to get ads. But he knew that I was coming there all the time. He knew everything. And this guy's eyes were fucking closed. So how in tune was he? He was in tune with the world. I mean, it was absolutely intense. And I loved it. I wanted to be there, but I mean, how could you sit there for so long? That's crazy talk. I mean, I don't think I could. I don't think I could. May stem back to the energy point you had earlier. Exactly. It goes back to the non-physical. He's just relaxing his physical body so he could just fully go to the non-physical realm. That he's leading himself and his mind into the non-physical realm of this universe, or maybe inside his own brain. I don't know. I'm not witnessing it with him. You know, I forgot about my coffee this whole time, bro. I hope it didn't get cold. Coffee is so good right now, early in the morning, you know, on a Saturday when you're just not doing nothing. It's good coffee. Let's drink it again. Will you shut the fuck up, tablet? Jesus Christ. That's the tablet I haven't looked at since like Wednesday. It's making like all this noise. Like, hello? You have 30,000 notifications. Like, are you gonna come pay attention to me? You probably need to charge me soon. Hello? Hello? But you know, but my whole point earlier, or one of the points, is that these dreamlike states are not dreams. I'm not having a dream when I view these things. Mercy, we love you, Mercy. I'm not having a dream when I view these things. That's what I think. I think I'm witnessing something else. And if time is both physical and non-physical, just like light, because they're one in the same. Is it possible that I Love You, Mercy, Stream Elements said we had 100% love between each other? It's official. Stream Elements said so. The is it possible that through your brain you're able to receive the energy from different points in time? And what the fuck? And just hearing some shit out there. And Stream Elements does know what's up, Mercy. But is it possible that you're able to view time outside of itself and outside of yourself, because you're able to link with the energy from that time that's given off? And this would be possible because of the fact that the universe seems to be cyclical in nature. Everything rotates, revolves, spins in a circle. I mean, it's all a variation of a circle. It's a cycle, you know. It's all a rotating is just spinning in a circle on yourself. You know, revolving is spinning in a circle around another body. Then, you know, so everything's spinning. We also know that the universe is spherical in nature. We also know that one of the things that scientists now seem to be pointing at is that time in itself is cyclical. And also that this is exactly what ancient mythologies say, is that time is cyclical, and in fact we are in what's known as the 5th age of man. You know, so that means that there have been 4 other cycles of humankind before this one. You know, whereas we've lived and died, lived and died, lived and died. You know, and only a few have survived and then continued and yada yada yada. You know, whereas we have the most recent story of Noah and others in other different cultures. You know, Noah is just the one that we have in our current Christian culture, but there are others in other different mythologies and other different you know, cultures and religions. So, but all of them say the same thing, is that there is that time is cyclical. Now, last time we watched a video about how time and space bends upon itself, and these are our theories for wormholes. Well, if space is able to bend upon itself and we're able to cut through space and traverse through it, hold on. YOLO Swaggin says it really makes you think we could really be incest babies from the thought of coming from a small group, but I'm all serious, that does make a lot of sense. No. That's actually true, and we are. In a sense. A few episodes ago we spoke about multiple different types of hominids that existed on this planet that no longer exist. Why? Because we either mated or killed them or both. And we are the ones who survived. So that also contributed to our different genetics. But if space can bend upon itself and we're able to cut through it and cut across time and through wormholes theoretically and mathematically, then theoretically energy and light and all these other things can do the same thing. Maybe physical beings can't do it. In fact, people who have witnessed crop circles, and I'm talking about literally been in the field when a crop circle has formed, they have witnessed it, whereas what they say that they see is a ball of light come down or appear literally over the area, and the energy it gives off forms these patterns in the crops. And what they literally witness this, right? Like this happening. It's literally a ball of electrical energy. Some people say it's similar to those what's known now in science as ball lightning, where it's literally a ball of electrical energy that floats around. It could even float into your house or just appear randomly into your house. This is a modern phenomenon. You could look it up all over the world. Ball lightning is a very known modern and ancient phenomenon. But I'll continue after I read Swagon's other comment. In a sense, we're only baby fuckers who fuck each other and brother, motherfucker, sister fuckers. But the gene pool grew to the point where we have different races and cultures. Had different races and cultures. Had different races, have different cultures. Granted, a lot of that stems from the regions they're from, like you said earlier. True. That's right. So, brother, mother, sister, fuckers. Somebody should have clipped that. I swear to God, if my watch keeps going off like this and annoying me, I'm taking it right the fuck off my wrist. Right now. There you go. Off my wrist. Oh, God. I gotta get new headphones. These headphones hurt my ear. We're gonna get new ones. We're gonna get one of those fancy external mics and all that stuff. This mic is really good, but we need a better one. So if light can travel, so the theory is that maybe these otherworldly beings maybe they're from another universe, aka like another dimension, parallel to our own, maybe from a higher dimension, because we know that we live in the third dimension. This is known scientific fact. This is known in religious fact. This is known somehow. No, I'm just kidding. We know how. And we live in the third dimension. So, could it be a being from a higher dimension? Maybe the only way to traverse dimensions is through light, through energy. So the way to send a message would be through some sort of energetic property or energetic principle. Maybe the way that they thought to do it would be to create a non-physical energy that has a physical effect on the universe. For all we know, it could be some sort of crystal type object maybe, or even just the ball lightning. You could send a thought through ball lightning, maybe, or something like that, or a similar thing. Maybe you're able to project your thought maybe they are able to harness the energy. How we spoke about how our bodies give off energy. Maybe when you're having a thought, these other beings figured out that when you're having a thought, it gives off this energy. Maybe they're able to capture this energy and transmit it through a light source. And that light source is then able to go through time, travel through time, or travel through dimensions, or both. Who knows? But that could be a possibility, and that's actually one of the theories on where crop circles come from. We all know it's not those fucking two guys hoaxing and shit with the crop circles with their fucking paddle boards, okay? We all know. The scientific evidence proves that it's not those guys, okay? Like, if you want to say that it is, then I suggest you go back and look at the evidence, alright? It's not those guys, alright? It may be somebody or some entity hoaxing, trying to punk the earth, punk conspiracy theorists. Maybe that's true, but like at the same time, it's not those guys doing it. That's a fact. Like with their fucking paddle wooden boards and shit. Like that shit makes no sense. Look at the scientific evidence. It's just it's proven. So this is a great fucking conversation. So if our energy is able to transfer through time, is it possible that through our dreams, when our brains enter fully it may be in the fact that what's called as the subconscious is actually the receiver section of our brain, and the conscious is the transmitter. So our conscious brains are the ones that send off thoughts, and our subconscious brains are the ones that receive the thoughts. So it may be that when we go to sleep, or we're in a total meditative state, or a rhythmic trance, or something like that, we're able, like how these shamans do, or how monks do, maybe then what happens is our brain switches entirely into receiver mode. And from there, we're absorbing the energy that's being given off, whether it be through other people and their thoughts, or through other animals, or through other beings from something as crazy as another dimension or another planet. It may be that this is why Nikola Tesla thought that he was hearing voices from Mars. He may be something more in tune with with that realm, and this brings me into we're going to talk about this more in depth in a future episode, because this topic earns more than one episode in itself. There's something known as the Akashic Record. The Akashic Record is what's known as the non-physical existence. It's where there is a non-physical energy. It's people try to imagine it as the cloud for the universe, where in here on with our technology we store everything on the cloud. We store all our knowledge and information on the cloud. In the universe has the cloud too. All thoughts and actions and everything and memories are all stored on the cloud. Like, wouldn't that be nice? It's all stored in the Akashic Record. Well, part of the theory is that in fact is that this area does exist, and the Akashic comes from the word Akasa from Hinduism and Sanskrit, and it I forget what it means. We'll talk about it later on. But it's I'll get it next time. But it's the idea that everything, it's similarly said in other religions. Everything that has happened, is happening, will happen, is said to happen. It's gonna happen. It's fate. It's destiny. It's the universe. It's the hand of God. It's all this other stuff. And you may wonder that that's what it is, but it could just be that the energy is out there. The energy exists, and when you switch into your subconscious mind, you are more attuned and able to receive these impulses. And within receiving these impulses, you're taking in this information. And if time itself is cyclical, like as Einstein's mathematics prove, and time itself is curved, and the universe is curved as well, then you have to realize that it's possible to receive energy from a far off place happening now in time, because it travels at the same speed of light. It's a non-physical energy. It may not travel at the exact same speed of light because it doesn't exist as light as we know it in our physical universe, because obviously we're not glowing. If it did, we'd be glowing with every thought that we ever had, literally. And every thought that I have, if I have a thought right now, you would see a big glow, and then it would go out into the air. Like, we don't see that. So obviously it's not physical light in our dimension, at least. But maybe it could be in a higher dimension, because we all know, scientists knows, and we learn in high school, middle school, and I don't know if elementary school, but maybe they do nowadays, but is that we see in what's known as the physical light spectrum. Our Roy G. Biv, or there's no violet anymore, right? So it's or there's no blue or whatever, so it's just Roy G. Biv or something. I don't know. RG Biv. But we all see in this physical light spectrum. But we know that light and energy exists in furthermore than just the physical light spectrum, and we call this infrared, X-ray, gamma ray, microwave, all different types of energy and light. Light is just another form of energy. And if we give off energy, we're giving off some sort of form of light. This is why scientists think, what I mentioned earlier, is that scientists think that we can actually implant our thoughts onto crystals and other light processes, because crystals are able to store light and energy. And if we're from the outside, and if you could transmit your thoughts into a light energy directly into it instead of just out into the ether, you can store that thought and that energy onto that crystal. This is also one of the things that have been proven by mythology. I'm speaking namely of the myth of the crystal skulls. We know that the myth about the crystal skulls is the myth, but the crystal skulls we know are real. So the mythology is derived on being, how did this come to be? The theory is that there's 13 of them, 12 and one master one, and they all store the energy of the universe and or other planets. And there's 13 other planets, or 12 other planets. Well, no, that would be 11 plus Earth, which is 12, and then the 13th would be the collection of all of them. You know, the master machine. You know, but could it be that these crystal skulls are in fact some type of energy storage container? And would it be that we're able to measure this? And in fact, we actually are. You are able to measure this. This is seen on Ancient Aliens as well as other documentaries, that they've actually taken these skulls, measured them, and measured the energy spectrum that it gives off, and they're able to see that it gives off these different types of light spectrums. Very different from a human, but it gives off something. Now, could it be in effect that all the knowledge is out there in the ether, in the Akashic record, in the cloud? Could it be in effect that way? There are other instances that prove it to be that way. There's what's known as the double invention concept. Someone definitely knows or knew for sure. Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're around as long as me, you know a thing or two. You know, no. But what happens is we seem to find out that in history, true, in history, there is almost simultaneous inventors inventing the same thing. We have the telephone and the telegram. I'll tell you, I just heard, those of you who know me, I love History Channel. I have History Vault. I love watching everything, listen to everything. Well, sometimes I also listen to the History This Week podcast, right? And I was catching up on a couple episodes, and I started listening to one yesterday about something I had no idea even happened. But in the 60s, they were doing what was called pirate radio, because in Britain they would only play like olden style music. They wouldn't play like anything like the Beatles or any rock music or anything like that. You know, no Rolling Stones, nothing. But people were listening to it, and they wouldn't even play the British bands. And so these radio stations would buy these ships and convert them into like a radio station and broadcast from international waters. So it would be totally legal for them to play the music that people wanted to hear without getting, caught up by the authorities or anything like that. Well, turns out the guy who had this idea, the same exact time, another guy in London has the idea. And at the same time, on the same exact day, they're going to launch their ships. And he ends up figuring out a way to get he bribes the harbor master to stall the ship so he can go out and launch first and be the first one on the radio. But they have this idea at the same exact time, and they're sitting there and they're fucking literally launching on the same day at the same exact time and the same exact hour at the same exact minute, literally. They eventually decided to join forces instead of compete. But the whole point is that they fucking they had the same thought and the same idea and the same ability to create the same action at the same time to get the job done. That's crazy. The other thing I saw the other day was I was watching modern inventions. One of the many documentary series on History Vault and the History Channel, and they had a. They were talking about the guy who laid the telegraph cable on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean so that North America and England can connect through telegraph instead of just sending letters across boats, because that's all they were doing while America was able to talk to each other with the telegram and just and England and Asia were able to talk to each other, couldn't get code across the Atlantic. So one guy living in the Northeast has an idea that he's gonna go and lay this cable across, and he does it at the same exact time. Hard as fuck to learn. Literally, Morse code is hard as fuck to learn. The guy, and at the same time, some guy living in California has the same exact idea, but instead of an ocean bridge, he wants to create a land bridge across through Russia to connect the rest of the world. So these two guys, and they're doing it at the same time. Both of them are one step ahead of each other, then one step back. They both one guy, he invents a new cable, and then the cable snaps, and the other guy, he gets the permission from one government to do it, but doesn't get the permission from another government to do it. As soon as it seems like one guy is one step ahead, the other guy is one step behind, but they're doing this at the same time. Alexander Graham Bell didn't invent it at the same time either. There were other guys inventing the light bulb. There were other guys experimenting with electricity like Ben Franklin. It's all out there in the ether. Is it the idea? How is it that almost every single, by the way, if you're not subbed, you're going to get ads. But how is it that every invention seems to be simultaneously invented? Is it that everything is really out there in the ether? Is it out there in the Akashic record, in the cloud? Is it out there in the universe? Is it destiny to happen? Is it bound to happen because the universe repeats itself and is cyclical in nature? These are the questions that are asked out there. Could be. It could be. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It could also be that we're all just in the right place at the right time. I just, happen to be in the world where, we just happen to be it has to be, from at least what we know. Well, it's like it could just be because at this time in our life, copper was used in a different way, and from that we were able to invent different materials and shape it into different molds for different things. Could be that. Could just be that, because of steel and concrete and all these other things, we're able to do more things. Could be. But that doesn't explain how, back in ancient times, they built these giant megalithic monuments that we can't replicate today, even with modern machinery. And, of course, many of them we could, but a lot of them we can't. And, so in effect, if you wanted to say that time is cyclical in nature, you would have to say that the ancients who built these megalithic monuments were more advanced than we are now, comparatively to how advanced we will be in, like, say 200 years, right? And then they died out from some sort of cataclysm or something. A few of them survived, and now we're regenerating society, and in about another 200 years we'll be just as advanced as we were, and hopefully we'll survive the cataclysm again better. The great flood that we know is bound to happen, is destined to happen. And again, because the gods say that it'll happen again, and we know geologically there are many signs that a great flood actually did happen. So it is entirely possible that everything exists cyclically, and we're just in the right place in the right time. But I don't think so, because that's also mercy. That also doesn't explain why all these people have all these inventions through dreams or through subconscious meditative trances. For example, Steve Jobs got his idea for the iPhone and his original concept of modernizing technology to bring it to the masses of the people through a meditative trance. He got that idea through his meditative process, through sitting there. Nikola Tesla also meditated. Nikola Tesla would also do thought experiments in his brain and sit there and think about everything. If you've spoken to me, which many of you who are here right now have, you know that I speak about how when I think about something, I fully form the image in my head. I mean, I literally fully form the image in my head. That's what the thought experiments were from Nikola Tesla and Einstein. They both have said that they did these thought experiments where they would think about it relentlessly over and over again until it fully formed in their brain. It's the same thing. Through their subconscious mind, they're able to receive these impulses. It may just be in a way that some people who are more attuned to the universe. Oh, Swaggins, hold on. You want to know what I really think? I really think it's a combination of the above. I think it's a combination of that time is cyclical in nature. The universe and everything is curved in nature. I do think that there was a cataclysm that wiped us all out and only a few survived, probably more than once. In fact, we know scientifically that it happened more than once, both to humans and to non-humans alike. I think that we are receivers and givers of information, and that we are able to attune to this information that could be out there. I also think it's a combination of our culture and our time in place in space, meaning the current time period that we live in the universe that's currently existing. I think it's a combination of all the above. And in fact, science and religion together would seem to prove that that is actually the case. Crazy to think that the reset button could be hit on us at any time and we'd not be able to see it coming? Absolutely. That's absolutely right, Swaggins. That's part of the theory. I think there's a lot we can do to avoid it, but there's also just the unavoidable. Nah, it's all unavoidable, bro. It's destiny. It's fate. No, I'm just kidding. of course you can avoid it. That's what happened with Noah and the Ark and all the other survivors who survived in many different ways according to mythology. But the should I put this one? Let's see. How should I put this? I think that there was a great cataclysm, but I don't always think that it's always been natural. For example, we have many stories about how maybe there was destructions, but the last one, known as the Great Flood, we know was not natural. Whether you believe it was aliens, whether you're polytheistic and you believe it was multiple gods, or you believe it was just the one almighty God, whatever you believe, everybody says it wasn't natural. The last one. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's just a mythology we created off of the hysteria of watching millions of people get swept away. Who knows? But there are stories. I remember there's a story that I refer to a lot in the Bible called about the Tower of Babel, where in the beginning all humans spoke the same language and were able to all humans spoke the same language and were unified in their beliefs, and they unified together and built a giant tower to be able to reach the gods. Well, if you kind of look at a modern day rocket launching site, it looks like a giant tower, and it has the ability to reach the heavens, space, the realm of the gods, right? Another planet could be the realm of the gods. A spaceship could potentially reach another planet, which would be the realm of the gods, right? So what they did is they wiped them out, and and all future humans, they created a fog on their brains, and they diversified language. So they didn't speak the same language. They couldn't unify. They couldn't go and reach the realm of the gods. They couldn't go and see what the gods were doing. They couldn't see the truth of the other dimensions or whatever. Well, if you want to turn that into a time is cyclical story, it's really a story about how there was a advanced race in the past of human beings, and something happened. Once again, it was the doing of the gods, right? Which in let's just say it was like hysteria of people. It wasn't really the doing of the gods. Well, what happened is the people got dispersed. They moved to different areas. They weren't together. Kush Lethal, good morning. They weren't together anymore. They didn't speak the same language. And they weren't unified. It's a story about It's a story about how time is cyclical. They started, they advanced, they died out, they restarted. They're more advanced again. Then another cataclysm happens. We're talking about dreams, the heavens, and the world. It all ties into dreams today, though, and how we're all connected to the universe. Are our dreams really real, Kush? Are you really dreaming your dream? Or in fact, are you witnessing something from the outside perspective through the physical construct of your brain? That is the question we're asking today. And in fact, it may be that it is cyclical in nature, time, and the universe, and everything happens, will re-happen, start over again. And then hopefully each time you get more advanced. I'll tell a story. The other day, a couple weeks ago, I was talking to Pat Mapusi. Do you think humans will ever already have made it to the edge of the universe, and maybe that's why they were punished? I'll answer your question with this story. It's a good question. Also, science says that there is no edge of the universe. The universe is expanding. The edge would just be what's already happened behind you, because the universe is as far as light can reach. So, we talked about this last episode. Here's what it is. So I spoke to Pat, and I said, think about it this way, Pat. What if I was a human being from, I don't know, 100,000 years ago, right? And we're all advanced. You know, our society has been living for 1,000-something years now. You know, we got technology, spaceships to hit the stars, you know, all this other shit. And everything's grand. And finally, we send a guy off into space. And his space travel is going to be, you know, he's traveling, you know, 50,000 light years away, right? So he's going to be gone, traveling the speed of light for 50,000 years. Well, so he comes back. It's been now 100,000 years. Have a good rest of your stream podcast. Okay, Mercy, I'll miss you. So he's gone for 100,000 years, right? He comes back, you know, because he's able to survive. He's preserved in some sort of sleep deprivation chamber where he doesn't age, so he's able to survive the whole trip and back. Well, he comes back to Earth 100,000 years later. He's been gone for 100,000 years. You know, he's in some rinky-dinky spaceship that they built 100,000 years ago. You know, he got a little more advanced over the years. He was able to tweak his ship, and the beings he met on that planet were able to tweak his ship. So now he's a little bit better off than he was before. Comes back to Earth, finds out we're all living in fucking hovels again. He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What happened? We were all launching off into space. Everybody had flying ships and all this other shit. You know, whatever the fuck. And everybody's fucking great. And we're sitting there, and you know, all of a sudden it's not that. We're living in hovels again. What happened? Also, people look different. People look different from how we looked back then. You want proof from that? Zeus used to call human beings the black-headed people, or the black-skinned people, meaning human beings overall had generally darker skin at that time. Well, obviously more people now have more lighter or fairer skin. And the theory is that geologically the Earth is different. People changed. Everything changed. we got wiped out. If you want to combine the theories, because some people say that the aliens who are visiting us are actually humans, time travelers, right? Well, what if he's not a human time traveler? He's traveled through time because of the way physically time works and mathematically works. Time is bound by light, so the way he's able to transmit the universe, he's been gone for 100,000 years. Right, so it's light, but he hasn't aged. So it appears like he's traveled through time, but in reality, he's just traveled. And so he would come back to this world and see that everything has basically started over from square one. You're right, Swaggins. Everything was wiped clean. And if you were an alien, a human being coming back here, you would potentially be viewed as an alien. You look different. You don't come here. People would want to know why. And exactly, Swaggins, kind of hit the nail on the head. That explains your explanation on space travel from previous episodes. I'm glad you were listening and remembering. That's awesome. That's exactly right. The 222 crime family. Who's this Santa man standing in the Obi-Wan Kenobi outfit? Bro, that's Moses. What do you mean? That's me. From 13,000 years ago. I trimmed the beard, and I got that dye to make it not gray anymore. Yeah, you get it. Right. Yo, shout out to the 222 crime family, man. Look at that. The Don, look at this motherfucking guy. You're right, Swaggins. That's exactly right. If I were to come back here, I would want to figure out why, right? So I would be kidnapping people, 222 crime family with the first. You're damn fucking right. This dude, this dude, bro. You dude, bro. Swaggins has been so intrigued in the conversation, he forgot to redeem first. It's like we're just starting over, Swaggins. You see that? We just started over from square one, bro. Look at that. Like, the stream just started. 222 crime family just got here. He's first. Stream just started. Fucking, you would be kidnapping people and experimenting on them to figure out why genetically we look different.
I swear to God.
Swear to me! Why we look different. You would want to know why we look different. At the same time, you would want to know what happened. So the only way is you would kidnap people, interrogate them, dissect their brain and try to, read their thoughts and figure out what happened. Maybe it's in their memories. Maybe it's stored in their genetic memories. Maybe it's hidden underneath the oceans, so they go down to the ocean depths and they build these crazy secret installations and they go down there and they try to experiment underneath the soil to try and figure out, is there genealogical evidence to support the theory that there was an ancient cataclysm, that wiped everybody out, and all this other thing, because we know that within 50 years, almost all of our modern buildings and everything would be totally just gone if human beings were no longer on this planet to maintain and build and everything. Nature would, within 100 years, would just have totally overgrown almost everything. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, you can't even, like, people want to know why there's no tools left. why you can't find tools from ancient Egypt, from all these other ancient cultures, why they seem so advanced and we can't figure it out because we can't find their tools that they used, right? It's because those tools wouldn't survive. They wouldn't survive this long. Yeah, they wouldn't survive the test of time this long. They would be gone. They would be wiped out. By the way, Don, how you like the fire around my face, bro? I'm fucking on fire in this bitch. I'm over here, I'm over there. I was on fire and then I'm on fire. You know what I'm saying? And then we're burning over here. We're burning this bush over here. You know what I'm saying? And way better than the last overlay, right, bro? I like it. I'm gonna change it up again too. I think I just made this overlay again this morning. I haven't had. This is the only overlay I didn't make yet, so I just remade it this morning. I definitely like the camera more in it. I want to be more in the actual flame though. I gotta edit the video so it portrays me more in the flame. Makes sense, especially since geologists find so much shit they can't explain. Exactly. There's a geologists have found a what the hell is the name of it exactly called? Fuck. There is a line. It's literally a line when you dig down into the earth. Like dig down. There's literally a line that's all black, right? And it suggests that at this period in time, before more sediment grew above it, that there was an ancient cataclysm. Whether it was natural or not is yet to be determined. But the fact that it exists about 12,000 years ago, during the time of when the Great Flood was supposedly happened, then it would suggest that the Great Flood actually did happen. Was it caused naturally or not? Who knows? Are you, bro? No, I'm Batman, bro. I'm even wearing a Batman shirt today. Parzizzle, good morning. How are you? Good morning. But the point is that routing it back to dreams is that the universe exists outside of ourselves. Could it just be that the difference is that True. Mr. WARR. It's Lord God of War to you, actually, Parzizzle. I mean, why do you think Swaggins redeemed that sad violin, bro? 'Cause you don't even know that I'm a god, bro? You calling me Mister, bro? That would imply that I'm human. Bro, the fuck, bro, the fuck ain't human, bro. I'm a god. I was born a god. I am a god. I am a god. I sound like Jesus,
I was born a god.
Jesus. Then I'm fucking Ryan Reynolds. You're fucking Ryan Reynolds, bro. I thought that was just in Family Guy that he was gay. I didn't know. I mean, I knew you were gay, but no, I'm just fucking with you, Parzizzle. Oh, no, I'm just fucking kidding. But I'm not even gonna read back that statement, Parzizzle. I don't. Okay, how about that? So, routing it back though, with Swaggins is laughing. With fucking routing it back to dreams though, is that when we dream and it's just like a regular dream, it seems to be some sort of foggy image, maybe conjured up by your own sarcastic mind, maybe just a jumbled mess of the images you're receiving. the energy you're receiving from out in the universe, the Akashic record. Maybe it's just that you're reading, not reading, you're listening in. Your brain is tuning in more into the universe. But when, how am I gonna put this? When you when you're, it could explain some of the shit, that deja vu that haven't occurred for you in your lifetime. Yeah, exactly. It recurs for me in my lifetime. I have deja vu all the time. But is it the fact that when I'm dreaming, I'm receiving information? I'm fully attuned to the information that I'm receiving. And that when I'm viewing these things through time from a third perspective, because sometimes they have nothing to do with me. Sometimes they're not about me at all. Like, not at all. Sometimes something will happen with somebody that I knew that was totally about them in the vision that ended up being entirely about me. You know, but the vision was about them, but somehow the whole theory and concept had to do with me. But could it be that also what happens in the dream? Am I viewing an alternate timeline? Am I viewing a some sort of alternate timeline? Do you think we have a sixth sense based on what we can't explain? Oh yeah, absolutely, bro. I have a sixth sense all fucking day, bro. I literally sit there like, I hear people's, I've meditated on this so much that I literally feel like I'm hearing other thoughts from other people all the time, or just their vibes in general, and I feel it and understand it. Oh my god, I got hiccups all of a sudden. Oh Christ. Oh my god. So I think that we do have a sixth sense and a feeling, and in fact many religious cultures and belief systems say that we do have a sixth sense. And the sixth sense is this mental perception, this what do I call it? I don't even know. This extra perception. Do you think Helen Keller could think? How could I have thoughts if you're deaf and blind? Bro! Don't get me started on Helen Keller, bro. Alright? You don't want to hear my thoughts on Helen Keller. Do you want to know the answer, bro? No. She couldn't think in terms of us. When we think, and you sit there in your mind and you're thinking, you sit there and you're imagining words and thoughts and all these things. She's dumb, deaf, and blind, bro. She can't hear you say words to her. She can't see you mouth them out or make signs with your hands, right? And she can't speak how she's feeling back to you, right? It's like the only thing that would come out of her mouth was meh, 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 like, or variations of it. Why? Because that's all she could do. Because, like, that's it. Like, yo, Mr. Wagbag was poppin', G. How could she monologue to herself? She was scared not being able to think to yourself. You're just trapped in your own head, bro. I mean, I mean, dude, she can't even relatively say to herself, she can't walk into a door and say, oh, I just walked into a door in her own brain, because she has no reference that that's a door. She has no difference. There's no difference between, she doesn't even know what a wall is, right? In her mind, it's not a wall, it's just a barrier, right? A wall is a type of a barrier. Right, so she, in her mind, she's just in a barrier. Like, that's it. Like a door. Like, she could walk into a door and she's stumbled upon a barrier. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you have to, in order to understand it, what I mean is you have to think very primal. Like how I spoke about in the beginning. When you're a child, you act and learn later. When you're an adult, you act based off of what you learned in the past. But when you're a child, you act and you learn from it later. Right? That comes in the form of either praise or scalding or something. Bro, it's terrifying. It brings me to people are brain dead. I'm sure it's the same for them. They're just no longer there. Exactly. So it comes from... This is why This is why I believe it's a combination of things, because is a combination of things because you have to combine with your essence of the universe. You have to combine with your time and place, your culture, your belief systems, your language, your frame of reference. This is why it's so believable that the ancient people wouldn't call spaceships. They would call them flying turtles, flying chariots, flying carpets, flying stone, flying cities, right? Because they would use words in their frame of reference to explain the unexplainable. Right? Amish AJ, good motherfucking morning, G. All y'all in the chat viewing it, you see that AJ's got that artist emo badge right next to his name, and you know why. Besides having that VI pizzle right there, you know why he's got the artist emo? Because he's AJ2X, the rapper, the artist, the creator, the motherfucking 2 bitches 2 shots. And by the way, y'all, if you ain't subbed, you about to get an ad or start ads in about 3 seconds. We'll see you soon. Stick around right here, we ain't going nowheres. AJ coming in with the emo, son. And you know what's funny, I'm wearing a Batman shirt that's similar to my Batman emote here. That I have also. Appreciate that. Throw those emotes in there. Hype that shit up while we talk about space. And look at those emotes, bro. They're traveling through space, bro. They're space traveling emotes. Lip bro. Yeah, AJ, you like the new fire, bro? You like the new fire around my face? I'm on fire, bro. I'm on fire, bro. I'm living in the flames, bro. I'm on fire, but I can't be burned.
I swear to God.
Swear to me! You know what I'm saying, G? Man, we got the whole 222 crime family pulling up in here. We got YOLO Swaggins. We got Don Jizzle. We got AKA Jedediah 2X. AJ2X, Toos Gang, Crown Family, YOLO Swaggins. We're just missing Sailor Jerry. We're missing a couple others, but they'll be here. You know how they are. You know how we are.
We know each other.
That's true.
He's a friend from work.
That's true. That's true. We work together. We work together all the time. We know each other. We have dreams. We feel each other's energy. We feel each other's vibe. This is why I'm 13,000 years old. Because I left and I came back and I said, the fuck happened? I said, where the fuck are we? We were all fucking chilling and vibing and flying through space. And then this is what happened. So when I was a child, I had when I was a child, I was plagued by dreams. I would always have dreams of war and death and destruction and carnage. Dreams of different events happening. Dreams of everything. But I would also have modern waking thoughts. Thoughts about inventions, things I wanted. For example, I wished like my bike would, pedal on its own. So I wanted a propulsion system to make it move on its own. So I would work it out and how it would be, able to be invented and created. Then I wanted my bike to fly, so I would try to figure it out like that way, how to have like a flying motorcycle. And and I would write all these things down. So one of the other thoughts that occurred to me is, are children also more attuned to these incoming impulses, and that's why they learn afterwards and not before? Because children are, they're just learning, They learn how to read and understand the universe and how to read and interact with people. And, you like the phrase, read the room, understand the room and where you're at. It's a very interesting concept, because children often dream and have nightmares, and when you hear about ghost stories and paranormal stories, you hear about children having the dreams. Oftentimes children are the center of attention. Children are the prey of demons, of witches and evil entities in all different mythologies. Children are considered a sense of purity, some sort of thing, a new beginning. I mean, it's also not hard to think about how easy it is for a society to restart itself, to be able to reset itself from the beginning, is because you would, just to, think about, you go to the movie theater today, it costs you like almost $20. Back when I was a kid, it was like $10, $12. Back when my grandfather was a kid, it was a nickel. And you think that, oh, that's funny, and that's just how you measure money, but like, to us here in the future, it seems almost like a fictional concept that it was only worth a nickel. Like, how could it be worth a nickel? Nobody would ever make any money off of the movie. Nobody would, you wouldn't even be able to pay for the production. And it's just, if we could lose our sense of time and belief about the past that quickly, you could totally lose it thousands of years later. 2,000 years later, there's really not much physical evidence to say that Jesus really existed. Yet, we all Christians today believe that he does. Jews and Muslims and Christians alike all believe in Abraham and Noah and Enoch and other prophets from thousands of years ago. Avatar 2 was expensive as fuck. No. Swaggins, I do not think that plagues are something that is supposed to be a small reset for our society. I do think that if they were artificially created plagues, that yes, they would be in a sense to control our society. But I think that saying that a plague is supposed to be something to reset our society is a retrospective point of view. Is that your alarm in the background? Bruh, you hear that? Bruh, it's the fucking dog whining, bro. And the fucking, it's like the only thing that this microphone picks up. And, all the time. Bro, it's fucking annoying, bro. I hate this dog. And, and so, wait, it's a retrospective perspective, meaning like you could fucking think about it from the future, saying that, oh, this is what happened, it wiped us all clean. It started, only the strong immune survived. Everybody else who wasn't able to build up an immunity died. You could say that, but the reality is that it was just a disease that spread due to uncleanliness, and through interaction between two cultures. That's all it was. Whether it cleansed our society or not is just an after effect. But all right. I want to thank you all so much for coming through. It has been an absolute wonderful time. For those of you on Twitch, we're not going anywhere. We're going to play some games. But this is the end of the podcast. I love y'all, but it's time to go. It was a great episode. I appreciate you, Swaggins. I appreciate you for coming in. AJ, 222 Crime Family, Merciless Mercy, Mr. Wagbag, Parzival, everybody who came through. I appreciate y'all. This has been a great conversation. We ain't going nowhere, son. We'll see you next week, podcast.